Hi, I'm Tara.
And I'm Shalvi.
Welcome to A Perfect World.
In this episode, we're looking at plastic waste and rubbish in general. How bad is the issue and what people around the world are doing to help?
We're living in an age where so much plastic waste is around that we've got huge garbage patches floating around our oceans.
We're hearing more and more about how this kind of waste is affecting our immediate environments and the wildlife around us.
Just recently, a dead whale washed up on the shores of the Philippines, and it was found to have 40 kilograms of plastic in its stomach, which is almost 3/4 of my weight.
Sadly, it's not the only case of that happening. That's why this week we're looking into a particular way for people to get active and keep their local areas clean, something which is important in oceanside cities and communities like Sydney.
Some of you may have heard about #TrashTag, an international movement on social media where people clean up their local area and post before and after pictures online.
There's also an activity called Plogging, which combines exercise and picking up garbage in your local area.
Shalvi and I went out onto the streets to see what people thought of the activity of plogging.
Have you heard of plogging?
No, I haven't.
Not really.
Not really.
No.
No, I haven't.
No.
What does it mean?
It's basically an activity where you go around with people and walk and hike and go jogging, but pick up rubbish along the way.
It's actually a Swedish word combining the word jogging and the word plocka up, which means to pick up.
Do you think this is an interesting idea or do you think it's a bit silly?
I think it's actually good. Like one of those ideas where you go to the beach and start cleaning.
It's not a bad idea. We can surely do that. And I personally would love to do that.
Not only does it increase physical activity of people within the area, it helps clean up the environment, which God knows we all need.
And if there was a local plogging group in your area, would you participate?
Yeah, of course, because every time I try to gather like my friends like, hey, you gotta join me. Like, it's not like you need to do it, but you can join me.
As you do something fun, you do something good for the environment.
It's an opportunity to meet new people for one, and two, it's an opportunity to help make nature a better place. You know.
I know this one because in my country, the Vietnam, they had a route to go to the seashore and pick up the plastic. And they sorting out and they recycle. So they do very well. It's last year I think they collect nearly 15 tons of the plastic rubbish in the seashore in the middle of the Vietnam.
Your general thoughts about rubbish in the areas? Do you think there's a lot of rubbish in the cities, a lot of rubbish at home?
I think more in the suburban areas because like you might as well just keep the city clean. Most people do. It's like there are bins around everywhere. In the suburbs, there's not many bins around, so you get tosses more in suburbs than in the city.
Like this, like why are they chucking things wherever?
Yeah, like don't be a tosser. You know?
Exactly.
It was really great to see everyone so supportive of this idea.
Yeah, I agree with you. It seemed like everyone understood what it was all about. I guess with a combination of exercise and environmental importance, everyone could see how this could benefit them in the future.
Let's take a look at this new product, which I think can encourage people to go out and start plogging.
Don't you hate it when you pick up a piece of plastic and throw your back out? Of course you do. Plogging is a great way to exercise and help clean up the environment. But why put your back out when there's a better way to plog? Our engineers have developed a revolutionary new plogging aid, the Big Brown Stick. The Big Brown Stick is the latest in plogging technology. Its patented length, girth, and sharp end allows you to pick up plastic no problem. Unlike other plogging devices, the Big Brown Stick is lightweight and ergonomic. Now you can finally assert your moral superiority without the hassle. Don't delay and call the number on the screen and you can get a big black bag for free. So what are you waiting for? Call now.
Wow, Shalvi, that was pretty funny. I'm sure the big brown stick would be really helpful.
Oh no. Thanks, but it was actually really nice to see how everybody was so willing to go out and clean up their local area.
Yeah, that was nice to see.
Tara, what do you do to clean up your area?
Actually, I enjoy snorkeling. And when I go out, sometimes I do see pieces of rubbish down there and I try to pick them up. But because I don't have much, bags or pockets when I go swimming, I only take 1 to 2 pieces with me.
Yeah, plastic pollution in our oceans is actually a very big issue right now.
You're totally right. It's what we mentioned before about the whale in the Philippines with the 40 kilos in its stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are so many microplastics in the water that fishes, that marine life don't even see, and they just ingest it without knowing that it's there in the water.
You're correct. I mean, I don't know if you've seen it, but there's actually a video of a turtle stuck with a straw all the way in its nostrils and they had to pull it out. And it looked like it was an extreme pain. Yeah. Well, what do you do to clean up the environment?
Whenever I go out trekking or bushwalking, whenever I see rubbish on the side, on the ground, I always pick it up.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's hard to do when there aren't any bins around that I can pop the rubbish into, and therefore what am I going to do? Am I going to hold on to the rubbish for 2 hours? That just feels a bit inconvenient, doesn't it?
It is very inconvenient, especially if it's not something that's just clean and simple and rubbish. If it's got a lot of things carrying, you don't want to be lugging that around.
Yeah.
And that's not the only issue with I've seen with the lack of rubbish bins. In the Sydney city where they're building the tram lines, they've blocked off the rubbish bins there and people have been leaving their rubbish on top of that. And it gets me wondering, about the accessibility of bins. Is the government providing enough?
Yeah.
Or do we have too much waste for the number of bins that we have?
Yeah.
How about reusing some of having a reusable coffee cup or something like that?
Yeah, because so much of the plastic nowadays, all of our things are made with single-use plastics. Our bottles, our straws. If we just replace those with alternatives, that would just have a great positive impact on our environment.
Absolutely. I have my reusable shopping bag. How about yourself?
I don't yet. Not just yet.
Yeah, but you're hoping to get that.
I will get that.
Yeah.
I will get that.
And what do you think about this idea of the individual versus government?
I think it's both the responsibility of the government and the individual. I don't think either of them can step back and say, no, it's your responsibility and point fingers.
That's a really good point. Thank you very much, Shalvi.
No worries.
Well, it seems the Australian federal government is aware of the issues that a lot of its citizens care about, which include our impact on our local and global environment. Though I wonder if they're doing enough and whether we need to push harder for solid investment in dealing with the issue of waste and its impact on our waterways and oceans.
I have some breaking news from the future. Newsclone 49 has some interesting developments to beam back to us on the Dystopian Daily News. Over to you, Newsclone.
A patch of clear ocean has been spotted in the Pacific trash heap roughly 800 kilometers north of the Mountain Dew Ranges in the former Antarctic region. The hole in the trash heap has been estimated to be about 500 meters in diameter. The global average trash height has already dropped by 50 meters over the last 20 years. However, this still leaves over a kilometer deep layer of garbage. The United Nations global cleanup effort is expecting to have mostly restored our oceans by the end of the next century. There is hope that the Pacific trash tribes and the Atlantic People's Republic can be relocated from their floating garbage nations. Currently, there is no resolution in sight for these refuse refugees. In reaction to this news, the internationally funded Marine Life Conservation Center has announced they will be stepping up their development and manufacturing of the cybernetic sea creatures and critters. The MLCC is hoping to release its wildlife upon review of their artificial intelligence control network, FishNet. The latest revision of their RoboCop has displayed self-awareness and aggressive tendencies. This has been a breaking news update. Back to our regularly scheduled programming.
That is not a future I'd like to see.
You mean you wouldn't want to surf on waves of garbage and plastic?
Oh, hang 10.
Well, that's it for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. On our next episode, we'll be looking at food and how what we eat can impact more than just our health.
You had better not ruin Kit Kats for me, Tara.
Oh, sorry, Shalvi.
Oh, no.
We'll see you next time.